Lately, I've been getting a lot of questions, and mainly one question about my hexagon quilt that I've been sewing. And the main question I've been getting is, how the heck do you hand sew those together? So let me do a super quick demonstration. First of all, I'm using a quilting needle and thread. The thread that I'm using is slightly darker than I probably should be using to sew these two hexagons together. The first thing you're going to do is take your hexagons and you're going to put them nice sides together, lining up all the corners as best you can. We're going to be doing what's called a whip stitch from here to here, making sure that we knot the corners like 2 or 3 times. I cannot stress it enough. You want these corners secure, okay? Now the stitch we're using here is called a whip stitch. Now how do you do a whip stitch, you ask? Well, you just stick it in through one end, come out the other side, and whip it around and repeat over and over again. We're just catching the edge of the fabric here, just the very, very edge. Inside here's a piece of paper. We want to try to not hit the piece of paper. If you hit the piece of paper on just the edge there, not a big deal. But you do want to try and sew just like millimeters of fabric together. And so you just repeat that whip stitch in through the back, out through the front, in through the back, out through the front, all the way down to the end here. Okay, so now that I've whip stitched all the way down here, I cannot stress this enough. I've already said it once, I'm going to say it again. Make sure that you knot the end here at least twice, maybe 3 times. I'm just making a loop, going for the whip stitch, making a loop, and then running my thread through that loop before pulling to make a knot. That's how we're knotting it off, okay? Once you've tied a couple knots, you can cut your thread free, and you now have 2 that are sewn together. Repeat that process until you have, I don't know, 5, 4, whatever you're feeling, sewn together. And then I take these and I sew them together to the project. Let me give you a quick demonstration of how that looks. Okay, so here's my blanket top, which at this point is rather large and cumbersome, so excuse the mess behind me. But I'm sewing this row onto the blanket right here. This is the strip we're working on. And I've already sewn this edge and this edge. So to show you how, the next one we need to connect is this one and this one is working. I'm going to demonstrate that. So since we're sewing this edge to this edge, we need to get this right side touching this right side, and we will just fold this in half. Never mind that this hexagon needs to be folded in half. That's why the paper is nice and malleable. Now, we want to line this edge up here because that's what we're going to be sewing. We want to make sure that the corners are meeting between the 2 hexagons that we are sewing. All of this stuff here hanging off, don't worry about that. It ain't even there. Never met her, girl. Okay? And then, like I've said twice now, this will be the 3rd time, make sure you knot your ends. So, allow me to knot my end, and then you just whip stitch that together the same as you did when you were making your rows. Okay, so I will whip stitch and whip stitch and whip stitch, and then I will show you when I'm finished. All right, so now that I've whip stitched along to here and I'm at the corner, what do you think I'm going to tell you to do? That's right, knot your corners. Don't forget to knot your corners. I'm talking to you, Bethany. Don't come to me when your blanket falls apart because you didn't knot your corners. Anyways, I'm going to take my needle out for a second just so I can show you what we've done. So, now that we've sewn this edge together, when we flip it open, we can see now that it's together. And you just repeat that progress in this zigzag until you've made an entire blanket. It is a little cumbersome as it gets bigger, but you know what? You can do it. I believe in you, and the result is gorgeous. Let me show you a full pan of what I've got so far. I'm currently 700 hexagons into a 1500 hexagon blanket, and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. If you have any questions, leave them below. Make sure that you follow me so you can see the better tutorial once I get it up. Thanks for watching.